Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ambler Sports Complex. Kevin Kopp with you here on Owls TV as we get set to bring you American Athletic Conference action. The Temple Owls taking on the SMU Mustangs in a pivotal late regular season matchup between two teams battling for a spot in the American Athletic Conference tournament next week down in Dallas. SMU is the host school, and they are fighting feverishly to make it. Currently, both of these teams enter with a record of 2-4-1 in a tie for 7th place in the conference, and actually a three-way tie for 7th with East Carolina. And with only 8 teams making the conference tournament, one of those 3 is likely to be left out here in a week and see their regular season come to a premature end. Temple looking for 3 big points here at home where they have been spectacular this season. The Owls are in cherry. The Mustangs are in white, and with a long ball out across the end line, it will go to SMU right off the opening whistle on a goal kick, and that'll give us time to bring you the starters, and we'll start with the Temple Owls. An overall record of 10-6-1, 2-4-1 in the American. That 10-win total is one off of the program best mark that was set 1 year ago, and they've got a chance to match that 11-win total here this afternoon with a win over SMU. The Temple starters, first in goal, number 32, a freshman Jordan Nash, who is allowing less than 1 goal per game since inheriting the reins as the starting goalkeeper from Shawnee Kirchhoff, who suffered a season-ending injury earlier this season. In the field in front of Nash, we'll start on the back line from left to right. Number 6, a senior Kaylee Harner. Number 18, senior Aaron Lafferty. Number 22, senior Taylor Trusky. And number 10, sophomore Gabriella McEwen. In the midfield for Temple, number 12, junior Elaine Byerly, number 16, senior Paula Jurwich, and number 19, redshirt junior Gina DiToronto. And up top at the moment for the Owls, number 3, a senior, Shannon Senior, number 13, the team's leading scorer and senior Kelly Farrell, and number 8, a sophomore, Alana Falcone. Falcone has come on extremely strong of late, as is number 19, Gina DiToronto, who has scored 5 points over the last 4 games. She gets the start here this afternoon wearing number 19, and one to keep an eye out for as she has been the hot hand or hot foot, as it were, of late for Temple here in conference play. Farrell gets the ball to it on the near side touchline. We'll lay a pass back to midfield. Senior back to Byerly. Give it back to SMU as Kelsey Gorney picks it up. And the starters now for the Mustangs, who enter with a record of 5-8-3 overall, so well below 500 on their season, but they've got the same conference record as the Owls, 2-4-1 in a tie for 7th place. In goal, number 45, a senior Shannon Maroney, and the field players in numerical order for SMU, number 3, a junior Taylor Barg, number 6, senior Gabrielle Petroselli, number 7, junior Taylor Jackson. Number 8, sophomore Lauren Guerra. Number 9, junior Kelsey Gorney. Number 11, freshman Haley Thompson. Number 13, junior Paige Jacobs. Number 15, a redshirt freshman Vanessa Valadez. Number 18, sophomore Claire Oates. And number 19, senior Lissy Lonsberry. And a throw-in for Temple near side touchline. Kaylee Harner will take the throw. Senior flicking it forward on a header. DiToronto does the same. Jurwich puts it on the ground. And a deflection gets it right to Kelly Farrell. Nice movement here by the Owls. Jurwich back to DiToronto. Out to her right. Falcone has some space. Falcone runs around it at the edge of the 18. Looking for a cross. Makes a nice move to get to the end line. Sends across. A header off the mark and just underneath Farrell's foot. Offside flag comes up, and we'll give it back to SMU after a frenetic couple of seconds. Temple with easily their best chance of the young game. 41 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the first half. And some excellent movement up the field. Set up Falcone, who had all day to set up a cross. Got off a great one, and the Owls did everything right, but put it in the back of the net. So we remain scoreless early on, and a goal kick coming for Maroney, the senior out of Allen, Texas. Her numbers this year, she has allowed 20 goals, a goals against average of 1.38 per game. She's made 53 saves for a .726 save percentage. So not bad numbers, but not the kind that Jordan Nash boasts on the Temple side of things. Nash giving up less than 1 goal per game. She's only allowed 12 this season and made 60 saves for an .833 save percentage. All of those marks, incidentally, are 4th best in the American Athletic Conference. So off an SMU foul, here is Lafferty serving one in over Farrell's head. Loose ball at the top of the 18. Jurowicz sends it into the air. Senior trying to get to it, gets off across. It's deflected out of play, and the Owls will take a corner kick. First corner of the afternoon for Temple. Harner will come over to the near side corner to take it, and this is an encouraging start for the Owls. They've generated a couple good chances in under 5 minutes, and will look to strike here on a corner kick. Harner is left-footed, so this one will bend away from the goal. Left to right out swinger. Headed first by SMU. Jurowicz tried to volley that one, and it sailed on her high and wide right out of play. So the Mustangs will get a little bit of breathing room and get another goal kick here for Maroney. Senior and Jurowicz both with headers. Taylor Jackson kicks it to the outside for SMU. Jurowicz has a touch. It's been all Temple early on. Here is Jurowicz. Cross from the far corner, partially deflected. Back out toward the far side touchline where Falcone gets to it. Falcone sends in a cross. DiToronto with a touch at the top of the 18, and it's taken away from her by Claire Oates. This time it's Byerly, keeping SMU pinned in their half. We've played just about 6 minutes here. 39 to go in the first half, no score. Temple with a couple of good chances right off the opening gun. From midfield, DiToronto. Fella, she got the pass off to Byerly. Byerly over to the near side, Harner. Harner's pass upfield, stolen away by Bard. Kelly Farrell in the mix there for Temple, and that is a player that they would love to get going here at the late stages of the regular season. Kelly Farrell was on historic pace with her start to the 2015 season. She's got 11 goals and 2 assists and still leads the team by a wide margin in goals scored, but she has put up 0 in conference play. The last game in which she scored a goal, she actually had a hat trick, first of her career, on September 20th against St. Joe's. So it's been over a month since Kelly Farrell has found the back of the net, and they'd love to get their senior and leading scorer going here at the right time. SMU and Houston are the final 2 games of the regular season for Temple before they hopefully head to the conference tournament down there in Dallas. Ball knocked out over on the far side. It will be an SMU throw-in. The Mustangs have had very little possession to speak of here in the opening minutes of this one. Trying to change that. Haley Thompson takes the throw on the far side touchline. And another throw-in coming for SMU. 15 yards out from the end line, far side. Good long throw inside the 18, headed straight up into the air. Looks like both teams lost it for a moment. Trusky with a header, and the flag must have come up for an offside call there against SMU. So that will give it back to Temple. 36 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the first half. We've played just under 10 minutes with no score. Lafferty will take the free kick. Lafferty with that big leg gets it to midfield, but SMU perfectly positioned on the header. Claire Oates will get it back for the Mustangs. Out on the left side, SMU up the far wing. And a pass gets through to the edge of the 18 where it will be stopped by Lafferty. Lafferty back up and over everybody's head. Barg will run to it. as Farrell applies some pressure. Gorney back to Jackson. And Jackson gets it across midfield for Valdez. Up the right side, Guerra to Valadez. Taken away nicely by Byerly. Valadez, number 15, is the team's leading scorer and leader in assists. So, player that SMU wants to get going. She's playing that attacking center mid / center forward position as she gets up into the attack here, right out in front of goal. So keep an eye on her with 7 goals and 4 assists. Both lead the team. Kaylee Harner has it taken away by Guerra. And some good help from Lafferty. Back out to midfield. Mustangs have started to get their feet underneath them a little bit over the last couple of minutes. They were really under siege in the first 5 or 6. Temple with a couple of dangerous crosses in from the far side. Oates runs around, and she and McEwen both go to the ground hard. McEwen ended up rolling over top of her, and luckily for Temple, Gabriella McEwen gets back to her feet after a hard collision. This is going to be a dangerous free kick coming for SMU. Right now the Mustangs concerned about losing one of their starters for the time being, and with that, we will step away for a quick break. You are watching live coverage of Temple women's soccer on Owls TV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, off the ensuing free kick. Blair Thorpe has entered the game, number 10 for SMU, and the Mustangs try to convert on this free kick from the far side. Harner gets it away, and the Owls will have a chance to clear it now with Byerly. 33 minutes and 45 seconds to play here in our first half with no score. SMU in white and Temple in cherry. Barg across midfield to the near side, Gorney. Up to Valadez. Gorney making a move for the center of the field. Jackson will swing it out to the left for Thompson. High cross. Nash calls for it and picks it up on the in-between hop. Nash a big kick, and the officials are going to get together, it looks like, over on the far side of the field. Tough to discern exactly what the nature of this stoppage is here. It comes with 33:01 left in the first half, and the goalkeeper, Shannon Maroney, is going to come out of the game. Got backup goalkeeper Katie Brown has entered here for SMU. Now, Katie Brown has played a fair amount. She's played in 3 games and just under 200 minutes this season. Her numbers are not very good. She's allowed 6 goals this season while making only 6 saves. It's a goals against average of 2.74 per game. That's 2.74 goals for every 90 minutes she's played, and 6 saves with 6 goals allowed is an even .500 save percentage. And Temple will look to test her here, and not sure exactly what would have happened, but this is a bad sign for SMU. They've lost one player due to injury here in the first half already, and now have to pull their starting goalkeeper, and whatever it was that prompted Maroney to come out was well away from the action. Meanwhile, things continue here. 32:30 to play in the first half. Ball knocked out on the far side, and Temple will have a throw-in. Out of play across the end line. Goal kick coming here for SMU. Southern Methodist, the same record in conference as Temple, 2-4-1. Their last win was back on October 9th, 1-0 against Houston. They also beat East Carolina 2-1. Tied Cincinnati 2-2, an impressive result. Temple took down Cincinnati 2-1. It was a huge win back here. Their last weekend at home, which was 2 weeks ago. They started the weekend off on that Thursday afternoon, beating Cincinnati. Were unable to keep that momentum going, though. They had just beaten the #1 team in the conference. And then on Sunday, a scoreless tie against East Carolina, a game where Temple really came out of that one feeling like they could have and should have had a win. That was a 0-0 final. Then went on the road, lost to Tulsa after having the lead in that game. They got Memphis back 2-1, a come-from-behind win in overtime with Gina DiToronto scoring the game-winning goal. So it's been a bumpy road over the last 3, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 tie. Temple in good position here. They've got SMU and Houston, 2 winnable games in their last 2 of the 2015 regular season as they try to secure a spot down there in Dallas at SMU's place in the conference tournament. SMU is, of course, trying to do the same. They're hosting the conference tournament, and they badly want to be a part of it. Kelly Farrell trying to get loose up the far touchline. We've got a whistle and a foul called against SMU, so free kick coming now for Temple, and Aaron Lafferty will trot forward to do the honors for the Owls. Lafferty steps to it, big right-footed kick. Inside the 18, headed away by the Mustangs. Guerra trying to get to it, and Jurowicz tried to keep it pinned deep, but could not. Valadez picks up the ball, a big touch, putting herself into a foot race against Trusky. Trusky gets there by a step and plays it back in for Nash. Good step by Guerra. DiToronto takes it right back for Temple. Senior calling for it. Jurowicz tried to find the seam. Senior still running on. Made a good effort to get there, but beaten to it by Barg. Now kicked out by SMU, and a throw-in coming for Temple. Kaylee Harner, will step to it and take the throw for the Owls. Harner's throw into DiToronto. Back to Harner. And that pass just skipped away from DiToronto and out across the end line. Goal kick coming for SMU. Backup goalkeeper Katie Brown in the game in relief of Maroney. Here's Farrell, the edge of the 18. Gets away from a double team, gets a pass off to Falcone, and a good step by Haley Thompson. Thompson wins it away for the Mustangs. Out to the left side now, SMU in transition across midfield. Thorpe has come into the game off the bench. Ball taken away by McEwen. And here come the Owls. Jurowicz over the top and back into Brown. Valadez to Thompson. Over to Thorpe. Check that was Oates who swings it over to the near side for Gorney. High press coming here. Farrell right on Barg, who gets away from it, passes off to Jackson. 27:30 to go, scoreless game, first half. Jacobs plays it back for Barg. SMU holding the ball much better here over the last 10-15 minutes than they did in the start of the game. Valadez will be whistled for a foul. It has not been a dangerous shot attempt on either side. Temple has had a couple of very good crosses, didn't lead directly to shots on goal. But SMU has had really nothing much to speak of offensively in terms of chances at Jordan Nash. Lafferty booms one upfield. DiToronto header straight up into the air. Farrell, ball just sneaks away from her. And trying to get it back, Farrell will commit a push and give it back to SMU. These teams have met quite a few times. The American Athletic Conference only in its third season, but these teams have already seen each other 4 times in the last 2 years. They've seen each other in both the regular season and conference tournament. And those matches have all gone SMU's way. SMU a perfect 4-0 against Temple, including the match that ended the Owls season last year in the first round of the conference tournament. So Temple is looking for their first win over head coach Chris Petrucelli and the Mustangs. Jordan Nash dives, gets 1 foot on it, and it's kept out of goal. A defensive save for Temple from Paula Jurowicz. A great play to save what would have been goal number 1 for SMU. So now, just like that, the best chance of the day belongs to the Mustangs. Forced Nash to go to the ground. She dove and knocked it away with one hand, and Jurowicz right place, right time to kick away a would-be rebound attempt in the goal. And SMU, seconds later, finds a way to answer, and the Mustangs have gone up 1-0. Valadez, the team's leading scorer with the strike, the redshirt freshman with her 8th of the year. And so much for Temple's dominance of the early minutes. SMU with back-to-back chances. Nash got the first one away. Just under a minute later, SMU answers, and it is 1-0 Mustangs with 25:30 to play here in the first half. Harner, header forward, Senior puts it on the ground. So interestingly enough, the last 2 games that Temple has played, the team that scored first would go on to lose. Senior, pass inside the box, and Jurowicz ends up on the ground. Farrell turns around, shot is off target wide right. Temple fans certainly wanted a PK there, as it looked like Jurowicz may have been pushed from behind, but to no effect. It will go back to SMU on the goal kick off of a Farrell shot. So going back 2 games, Tulsa, Temple takes the lead early in that one, gives up 2 goals and loses in regulation late 2-1. Reverse happens against Memphis, where Temple gives up the early goal and then comes back to tie it, sends it into overtime, and wins it. So first goal, a good predictor of success, but it has not gone that way in either of Temple's last 2 matches. They hope that streak continues. Meanwhile, Valadez, little shot cross there, but it's beyond Guerra's ability to reach it, and it will trickle out wide right, go back to Jordan Nash and the Owls. 24:10 to play here in regulation, or excuse me, in the first half. So plenty of time left for Temple. They've got about 70 minutes to try to get back in this one down a goal. Ball kicked away by Barg, and it will be off an Al for a goal kick. Owls have been darn good here at home, and they're hoping that that magic will keep up. They've got the final weekend of the regular season right here in Ambler today against SMU, and then taking on Houston, currently last in the American, on Senior Day. Good time to remind you we'll have live coverage of that game. We'll begin a little early. Scheduled start is 1 p.m. We'll go on the air at 12:45 to bring you live coverage of that Senior Day. Dangerous bouncing ball inside the 18. Sarah McGlynn, who's come into the game, got a piece of it on a header. Byerly out to the far corner. Farrell marked out there by Jackson. Farrell just looked like tried to get a deflection for a corner kick, and it was well defended by Jackson to avoid giving that up. Ball out on the far side, and it is going in SMU's direction. 22-20 to play in half number 1. Foot race down the far side. Valadez, ball poked away by Trusky. Valadez holds it, drops it back now for Thompson. Thompson back to Valadez, and McEwen takes her down. That is the second player that has ended up on the ground for SMU after a collision with Gabriella McEwen, playing right back today for Temple, and this is SMU's leading scorer. Valadez able to get back to her feet. There was no foul. It is a throw-in for SMU. And the Owls will get it back right away. Jurowicz sends it to midfield. Ball caromed away from Barg, and Kelly Farrell makes a nice move. Farrell gets free down the right side. Pass for Senior. Senior over to the end line, and ball somehow kept in. A nice job to avoid giving up the corner kick, but across, Falcone tries to settle and will instead get a corner kick. Ball last touch by SMU, and nice job by Temple. It all started with a good touch from Kelly Farrell on the pass from Paula Jurowicz to give the Owls a chance, and now Temple gets their second corner kick of the half. Farrell grazed it on a header. Lafferty will run it down on the weak side, pass it back for Harner. Second attempt now. Temple's got a step to avoid being offside. Harner sends in a cross, knocked away by the Mustangs. Jacobs pass to the outside. We now have 20 minutes remaining in half number 1. A whistle and a foul against SMU, going to give it back to Temple just shy of midfield. Lafferty, another big booming kick. And this will result in another corner kick. So Temple's done a nice job here in the first half getting to the corner, trying to tie up this game down 1-0 against the Mustangs of SMU. Alana Falcone, who is leading the team with 4 assists, to take the corner from the far side. Goes short and on the ground to Senior. Senior gets off a pass intended for Lafferty, broken up. Now Farrell has a chance. Farrell back to Senior. Cross to the near post, over Byerly's head. She'll run it down. Lay it off for Jurowicz, and Temple will set something up. Harner to the edge of the 18 for McEwen, kicked away by Gorney. Out of play, and a Temple throw-in. So the Owls haven't managed a shot yet off of this corner kick, but they've kept it in the attacking third and are looking for something here. Jurowicz to take the throw-in. Farrell's header out to Harner. Back to Jurwich, and just didn't catch that one cleanly. It spins off her left foot out of play, and we'll go back to SMU. Katie Brown, SMU's backup keeper, has yet to been tested. She has not been pressed into a save so far. Blair Thorpe down the left side. McEwen gets there first to Trusky, to McGlynn, McEwen, Jurwich, back to McGlynn. Nice movement here by the Owls as they try to solve the puzzle and get the ball up the right side of the field. McGlynn making a run down into the far corner. She's matched up against Taylor Jackson, and it will be a goal kick or a throw-in from the far corner. Excuse my error there. Foul called and a free kick from just inside the corner. So de facto corner kick here as Falcone will take it. Jurwich for a moment there was left unmarked. Instead, ball sent over Senior's head. Header out of play. Jurwich out of harm's way, I should say. Still very much in play as Jurwich gets to it. Trusky up ahead, broken up by Jacobs, and a chance now for SMU to counter. Mustangs have not had much of the ball since that first goal of the game. It is still 1-0 SMU. Guerra taking it down the far side. Trusky, good tackle. And it's going to be a goal kick, so everything went right for Temple on that one. Trusky avoided the foul, knocked the ball away, and even got it deflected back off of the SMU attacker to get the possession back for Temple. So really terrific work there by Taylor Trusky, who's one of the unsung heroes of this Temple back line. Farrell back for Byerly. Byerly swings it to the right and led McEwen, oh, nope, not too far with that ball. McEwen got to it. McGlynn takes a touch to keep it inside. (15-20) first half. Temple down a goal, ball knocked out, even with the Temple bench. Seamus O'Connor with a quick word or two for McEwen as Trusky takes the throw up the far touchline. From midfield with 14 minutes left, SMU, long ball up the far touchline. Trusky called off by Lafferty, turns, kicks it out of play, and SMU will get a throw-in. They have brought Barry Kesner into the game. McGlynn will win the throw-in for Temple, and Trusky will take it. Good long throw by Trusky. Byerly trying to get to it in the midfield, working against Paige Jacobs. Jacobs to Valadez. And again, some players go tumbling to the ground. Valadez and McEwen have tangled a couple times already in this half. This will be a foul against McEwen. 12:45 to go. Free kick SMU. Absolutely gorgeous day here in Ambler. It feels like every time we've come out here, the weather just gets better and better. And here into late October, mid-70s this afternoon for this one. Against a long-range shot taken and blocked by Trusky there. Beautiful backdrop as the leaves turn. And only a few games left at this complex before Temple's men's and women's soccer teams depart for the city next season. We were out here yesterday for Temple men's soccer against UConn. Fortunately, Temple men dropped that one by a 2-0 score. It was the first loss of the season here in Ambler for Temple's men's soccer team, which has had a terrific 2015 season. Falcone just outside the 18. Falcone stays on the ball, turns, left-footed shot, and Brown is there for the save, her first of the afternoon. And we're actually back out here twice more this weekend. It's a busy week out here in Ambler with 4 games in 5 days at this complex. On Saturday, we'll be here with the men. They have their senior day against Cincinnati at 2 p.m. It's their senior day, and we'll be live on the air beginning at 1:45. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Sunday will be senior day here for the Temple women. 1 o'clock game against Houston, and we'll be live with you right here on Owls TV at 12:45. Substitution for the Owls, they bring in senior Paige Rachel for Falcone. And on the SMU side, Chinelo Odebulu will come in. The sophomore, number 14, has scored 1 goal this season. Rachel with 1 goal on the Temple side as both teams go to their bench. The later minutes here of the first half, 10:45 to go. SMU holding to a 1-goal lead. Trusky's ball to midfield. Gorney keeps it away from Farrell, and whistle comes in from somewhere. Offside call against the Owls. Byerly tried to clear it. Ball deflects back inside the 18, but well to the left of the goal. Nash will let it go out of play and get it back for Temple. This game a little bit at the moment reminiscent of the Lehigh game, where Temple has the advantage in shots, 5-1, but the not just the lone shot on goal for SMU, the lone shot that they've taken has gone in, and it is a 1-0 Mustang lead here in the first half. That Lehigh game early in the non-conference season, it was actually the first game after the injury to Shawnee Kirchhoff, first start for Jordan Nash. Temple lost that one 3-2, had the advantage in shots, and actually only allowed 3 shots on goal the entire day. All 3 went in for Lehigh, including an absolute beauty of a game winner in overtime. So Temple has had the majority of the chances in this one, but it is not the chances that matters, but the goals, and that is what SMU has done. They've converted their, really, they had 2 great opportunities in the half. They came back-to-back, and they converted on one of them after Nash made a great, not a save, but a play to knock away a cross. A couple seconds later, SMU regrouped and put in a shot from distance and is up 1-0. 8.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Farrell could not get free. Valadez on the far side, but will deflect it out of play and will get a throw in for Temple. Kayla Cunningham will enter and Farrell will come off. So there is Kayla Cunningham, number 23, into the game. 1 goal, 2 assists on the season for the redshirt sophomore out of Whitehall, Pennsylvania. Jurowicz now will take the throw for Temple, a couple yards out from the flag in the far corner. Jurowicz to Cunningham. Back to Jurowicz, big left-footed cross. Senior runs it down, a header is in. Shannon Senior has tied the game for the Owls. It is 1-1 with 7:40 to go in the half. A terrific cross and an even better finish. Shannon Senior puts it in, and it's a brand new game as Temple tries to come from behind in back-to-back contests. For Paula Jurowicz, that is her second assist of her senior season. And Shannon Senior gets her second goal of her senior season. So an all-senior connection there as the Owls make it 1-1. As I said, the Owls struck first in the Tulsa game, then gave up 2 goals to lose it 2-1. Owls gave up the first goal against Memphis, came from behind to win 2-1 in overtime, and they have shown that same fighting spirit here after giving up the opening goal to SMU. The Owls have knotted the game 1-1, an eventful first half, and with just over 7 minutes to go here in half number 1 and just about 52 minutes to go in regulation, we've got a new game. Stop by McGlynn, who now brings it across midfield with a full head of steam. McGlynn out to the right side. Cunningham. Cunningham has space as SMU tries to get back into position. Across, deflected away, and out. It will be a corner kick for the Owls. So nice job by McGlynn, who picked up that ball and moved down the field in a hurry. And Cunningham wins yet another corner for Temple. This is now 4 corner kicks in the first half. And Paige Rachel, who has come in off the bench, will do the honors for the Owls. Left-footed kick, bending into the near post, punched away by Brown, and Temple will have to set up and do it all over again. Whistle before we even start here, and a word for Barry Kesner of SMU and Temple's Sarah McGlynn, who must have been pushing each other somewhere in that pile. And this kick is out of play. No chance there for the Owls. So 5:07, 5:06 and counting here in the first half. Temple has equalized through Shannon Senior, a beautiful header goal on an assist from Paula Jurowicz. Off a Temple foul, Jackson puts it back into play. Nifty backheel pass there as SMU works it down the far touchline. Picked up and kicked away by Trusky. Thompson takes the throw. Cross and flag up. Offside against SMU and going back to Temple. Lafferty's kick headed across midfield, but out. Last touch by Rachel. And SMU will have a throw in 10-yard shy of midfield. Thompson's throwing for Paige Jacobs. Good win back by the Owls. Byerly tried to get it up to McGlynn. Trusky, big kick over the top. Cunningham can't hang on to it. Jackson over to Barg. Pressure here from the Temple forward. Senior, the goal scorer, forces an errant pass, and it just nicked her on its way out. So a throw in here for SMU. Gorney. Odubulu to Gorney. Now Petroselli. Jackson out to her left for Thompson. Jorwich, who's had a nice half, kicks it away. Thompson will try again. We've got 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Tie game 1-1. Gorney to Kesner, back to Gorney. Nice move here. Edge of the 18. Gorney left-footed shot, and that one sails wide left. A good take there with players closing in on her. Just could not put that one on frame. Oates. Over to Gorney. Gorney, good feed. Odubulu just a step late getting there. Lafferty steps up and knocks it out of play. Final minute of the first half. SMU looking at one last chance to try to recapture the lead. Inside the 18. Trusky couldn't quite get out of harm's way. All sent into the box, and this time Lafferty clears it out. 40 seconds to go. Barg knocks it up ahead, header straight up into the air on the left side. Jacobs, transfer out of Oklahoma, fighting against McEwen there against the end line, and we'll get a corner kick here for SMU. They'll throw some numbers forward there, 24 seconds left in the half. Too much on this one. It gets across to the near post, but a penalty kick will be called. And SMU, with 15 seconds left in the half, will have a chance to retake the lead. So the next best thing to putting a goal in the back of the net off of that corner, they get a foul coming in against Temple, and now we'll get a penalty kick opportunity in the 45th minute. Claire Oates, the sophomore midfielder, has 3 goals this season. Oates steps up, goes right, and beats Jordan Nash, and SMU is back on top, 2-1, and an absolute momentum killer for Temple, who had scored the goal to equalize. They were one corner kick away from getting out of the first half, tied 1-1, and instead with 14 seconds left, now trail 2-1, and will likely trail going into the halftime break. 10 seconds left. Harner will simply knock it upfield. Cunningham will try to run it down, but it's kicked out of play, and that brings us to the end of half number 1. The Owls did a lot of great work to equalize after being down early. Shannon Senior scores a beautiful goal, but it is SMU up 2-1 after a penalty kick in the 45th minute. We'll step away 15 minutes here on our halftime break. You're watching live coverage of Temple Women's Soccer on Owls TV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp with you here on Owls TV as we get set to start half number 2 in Ambler. SMU leading Temple 2-1 by virtue of a 45th minute penalty kick goal that put the Mustangs on top by a 2-1 score. It's been a seesaw first half. Vanessa Valadez put SMU up 1-0 in the 20th minute. Shannon Senior answered 18 minutes later. Just a beautiful goal. You got to take another look at this one. We'll get it for you hopefully later after this game in the highlights. Paula Jurowicz got free and sent in a great cross from the far corner. Shannon Senior, one-time header, top shelf goal. It knotted things up 1-1, and then with 14 seconds left in the first half, off of an SMU corner kick, Temple committed a foul, and the Mustangs converted on the PK, took the 2-1 lead, and here we go into the second half. It's not quite a must-win for Temple, but with 2 games left in the regular season, Temple is tied with SMU and also East Carolina, a 3-way tie for 7th place in the conference. So essentially the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the conference occupied by these 3 teams, Temple, SMU, and East Carolina, and only 2 of them are going to make the conference tournament. So Temple certainly does not want to allow SMU to score 3 points at their expense today. Temple finishes up with Houston, who is in last in the conference, so you figure that nothing is a guarantee in this conference, but you figure Temple should be able to get 3 key points on Sunday, but they give up 3 to SMU today. They've already tied East Carolina. SMU also has a win over ECU, so win today in all likelihood puts SMU into the conference tournament. And it would be a big win for the Mustangs as they are the conference tournament hosts, and they certainly don't want to be welcoming 8 teams to Dallas and not being among them to vie for a conference tournament championship. So all that is a roundabout way of saying there is a lot riding on these next 45 minutes here on both sides. Temple trailing 2-1. The Owls are in cherry. They are moving from left to right here in the second half, attacking the right side goal, and SMU in white moving from right to left and attacking the left side goal, which is occupied by Jordan Nash. Shannon Maroney, the starting goalkeeper for SMU, came out 12 minutes into the game and she has not returned. Katie Brown here in the highlighter yellow wearing number 1 is the backup keeper. She's played just a little more than 200 minutes this season. She allowed the goal that Temple scored. She also made 1 save. On the other end, Jordan Nash, a tough first half, giving up 2 goals, albeit one of them off a PK. You can't really expect much there from her, but she did not have a save in the first 45 minutes. Temple outshot SMU 6-3, had 5 corner kicks to SMU's 1, but all that matters at the moment, SMU on top, 2-1. 42-40 to play here in regulation. Barg out to the far side for Gorney. Guerra brings it across midfield. Paige Jacobs up to Lonsberry, and it jumps away from her. McEwen gets to it, kicks it out of play. SMU will have a throw-in on the near side touchline. Kicked out by Lafferty. Gorney gets to it. Barg. Gives it around for Jackson. And Jackson up the gut. And Byerly will be whistled for a push, trying to clear some space and get to that ball. So SMU wins a free kick. Petroselli on the receiving end of that foul. Jackson off of the kick. Lafferty right underneath it on the header. Worth noting, Temple has not won a game this year in which they have allowed 2 or more goals. They do have a couple of come-from-behind wins this season, but none in which they've allowed 2 at any point. So they'd be looking for their first 3-2 win of the season if they can scratch out 2 here in the second half. Remember, it's a backup keeper that they're going against, and the season average for Katie Brown is 2.74 goals allowed per 90 minutes. Temple has got to be the team that puts pressure on her, and this may help. Petroselli whistled for the foul and then given a yellow card for voicing her displeasure with the call. So that stops the clock at 40-19, and it would have been a free kick opportunity here for Temple regardless. But every little bit of clock you can save certainly helps at this juncture when Temple is trailing. And Petroselli now in the book. I believe that's also her 4th yellow card of the season, meaning 1 more and she's got to serve a 1-match ban. And that's certainly not the way you want to pick one up. Hard foul and the call doesn't go your way is one thing, but being whistled for the foul and then yelling at the official to pick up the card is entirely another. In any event, it sets Temple up with a free kick about 30 yards out. Lafferty played it to the outside, crossed in. SMU ready for it. Second opportunity now. And this is going to be Farrell, whistled for a foul inside the box. So it will go back to SMU, and Temple does not do much off of that free kick. Tried to mix things up. Lafferty certainly could take a strike from there, but instead played it to the outside. And SMU now will get the free kick back off of the Farrell foul. We are under 40 minutes to play. And a play far side, throw in for SMU. And a substitution for the Mustangs as well. We'll get number 16, Lauren Harrington, into the game. Sophomore out of Katy, Texas. Throwing down to the far corner. Guerra into the box, kicked out by McEwen. Gorney, second chance. Stopped at the edge of the 18 again by McEwen. Good touch by Lonsberry, trying to turn around. McEwen applying the pressure. Lonsberry gets off a pass. Guerra in for Valadez. Valadez shot saved by Jordan Nash. Great save by Nash, diving to her right, and in all likelihood a game-saving save as well. If she lets in goal number 3, you can more or less write this one off for Temple. That was very nicely done. Clock finally stopped at 38:09 after a couple of verbal cues to have Taylor Jackson put it back into play. So the officials already cognizant of SMU playing with that lead. Obviously, that's part of the gamesmanship. You want to run down as much clock as you can in between on those whistles, throw-ins, free kicks, etc. But officials appear as if they're going to keep a close eye on that the rest of the way. Temple gets it back on a throw-in. Senior into Farrell. Farrell to Lauren Guerra. Header on the ground for Jurowicz, and Jurowicz will be called for the foul. Player down for SMU. Jurowicz frustrated with the call. And the clock will stop again here now, 37-11. Player down for SMU, and it's been a recurring pattern this afternoon. Mustangs lost a player in the first half off a bad collision. This is Claire Oates. So Oates helped back to her feet. So in addition to losing a player to injury in the first half, SMU also lost their starting keeper, Shannon Maroney. Oates will have to exit at least for a short moment here. 37-11 to go in the first half. A reminder, folks, we're back out here on Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock p.m. start, as Temple finishes up the regular season against Houston, trying to secure a spot in the American Athletic Conference tournament down in Dallas, Texas, hosted by SMU. We're also back here on Saturday. Temple men's soccer has their senior day as they take on Cincinnati, looking for some revenge after a 3-2 loss to the Bearcats to open conference play earlier this season. So it appears that SMU, rather than sub for Oates, is just going to play with 10 until they can get her back on the field. Ball played forward, and Oates is back out onto the field. Ball bouncing out over on this side, and it's out of play. Throw in for SMU. Thompson takes the throw. Valadez gives it back to Falcone. McEwen finds Farrell. Farrell, Good play to DiToronto, who's been hot lately for Temple. DiToronto turns around and gets a corner kick. Nicely done. Gina DiToronto has been named to the American Athletic Conference Honor Roll the past 2 weeks. She joins Kelly Farrell as the only Temple player to get back-to-back honors this season. DiToronto's had 2 goals and an assist, so 5 points in her last 4 games. This is Falcone to take the corner kick. Byerly, it's loose on the backside, tries to get a header off, cannot, and now cleared away by Taylor Jackson. Remember, Temple scored their goal not on a corner kick, but essentially a cross from the corner that resulted in a header for Shannon Senior. Trusky over the top, DiToronto, a header. High press here for Temple against the SMU backs. Get away from the pressure. Thompson. It's a pass off for Harrington. Harrington over to the right side. Barg. Now to Gorney. Foul call and free kick Temple. And now we will have a discussion between the center referee and Paula Jurowicz. So that stops the clock at 35-12. Free kick for SMU, excuse my earlier error. And I think what Chris Petroselli is upset with is if the official had to talk to a Temple player, why stop the clock, which is a benefit for Temple. If you're going to do that, why not put her in the book? But in any event, 35 minutes to go here. It's been kind of a stop and start second half, but we've played 10 minutes. No change in score, still 2-1 SMU. McEwen, big ball over the top. And a foul called back toward midfield. You could probably hear through the mic Lissy Lonsberry expressing her disbelief at the call. Referee was waiting to see advantage, which is why they let that ball go upfield, and now spot it back here at midfield, where Lafferty will take the free kick. Lafferty, a good one, up into the air. Brown comes, punches it away. She ends up on the ground. It's an empty net. DiToronto's shot blocked out of play for a corner kick. That is the best result for SMU, as it was a virtual open goal situation after Brown had to go up in the air and came back down on the ground with the ball still in play. And Temple has done an excellent job of generating corner kicks in this game, trying to have one pay off here. Harner, high left-footed service. Brown had it, lost it, and the ball somehow doesn't find its way in. Shannon Senior was there with a chance at goal number 2. DiToronto lofts one up and over the crossbar and out of play. So 2 missed opportunities there for Temple, but good chances as the Owls still have more than half an hour to try to tie this game in regulation. Ball ends up inside the SMU box, and finally Jackson had to kick it away, but will concede a throw into Temple. Owls keep it in the attacking third, and Taylor Trusky has the long throw. Will take one here. Good ball, just beyond the reach of Paula Jurowicz. SMU gets it out on the far side. Guerra, now a chance for the Mustangs to counter as Temple drops in. Paige Jacobs from midfield. Lonsberry calling for it. She'll get it. Plenty of space in front of her. She's now picked up by McEwen. Lonsberry dribbles inside. Takes a shot. Slow roller and an easy scoop for Jordan Nash. Long ball up the far side. This is up and over everyone. Valadez giving chase for SMU, but Lafferty wins the race easily, plays it in for Nash. Back out to Lafferty. Temple try to build out of the back. Instead, play a long ball up through their forwards. DiToronto with a great win. DiToronto takes it away from Barg. Cuts back inside, finds Kelly Farrell. Farrell, top of the 18. And lost against Lauren Harrington. Great move by DiToronto, though, to set up that chance. Owls need more of that here down the stretch. Barg clears it away. Harner redirects it. 31 minutes to go. Barg plays it to her right for Gorney. Valadez, nice touch, and helped out there by a handball possibly. SMU free kick. Takes us down near 30 minutes left. Lafferty wins it on a header. How many times have we said that this year? And great heading presence, and Lafferty well on her way to being an all-conference defender for the Owls. Lauren Guerra is fouled, and this too will stop the clock. And a yellow card issued to Shannon Senior. That is the second yellow card of the afternoon, the first against the Owls. So Senior into the book. 29:51 to go here in regulation. We've played just over an hour. SMU on top 2-1. They have led since right before halftime when they retook the lead on a penalty kick. And Taylor Barg, the junior out of Dallas, Texas, will have the free kick and put it back into play. Header by Jurwich and a foul on Guerra for going up over the top. Valadez trying to get free of midfield, finds Paige Jacobs. Jacobs finally caught from behind, and no whistle here. Or were they waiting to see? Well, instead, a whistle comes in against SMU. We were waiting to see if there was advantage, but it was on the Temple side, so Temple gets a free kick. The foul's mounting here in the second half. Fifth meeting in 3 seasons between these teams. Farrell lays it off. A shot wide left off the foot of Paula Jurwich. Good looking chance there. And Sarah McGlynn will re-enter the game for the Owls. Farrell will come out for the time being. There is McGlynn, freshman out of Cherry Hill with 3 goals and 1 assist in her freshman season. And now a player down for SMU, so the clock stops again, 27:45. Taylor Jackson, player down, gets back to her feet. So, or excuse me, no, never mind. That is Claire Oates, who is, she was banged up earlier in the half, had to come out for a moment, and now is back out of the game. So, SMU will bring back Petrucelli. Free kick for Brown. Right into our broadcast position. SMU throwing from midfield. Ball up over the top. Pressure bearing down. McEwen had a chance.
He's got the flag up.
And the Temple coach is irate, and some of the Temple players irate as well, wanted a handball there, which would have given the Owls an extremely advantageous free kick. And it goes uncalled, and now 27 minutes to go. Another loose ball, McGlynn in the vicinity, but kicked away by Taylor Jackson. Now with under 26 to go, free kick coming for Lafferty. It's been a physical and at times ugly second half. Lafferty sends a good one away. Cunningham breaking in from the near side, but it's right into the arms of Katie Brown. Header by Harner. And the Owls are going to pick it up from midfield. Senior, who was playing mostly forward in the first half, now playing back, turns this ball over in a bad spot. Now to Lonsberry near side. Trusky loses her feet. Lonsberry plays it off, edge of the 18. Shot, one bounce, saved by Jordan Nash. So dangerous turnover by the Owls. Cross in from the far side, blocked but kept in play. Harner again blocks it, and nice job there. 2 times not giving up the corner kick. And Temple gets it back. Up the far touchline, McGlynn plays it back for McEwen. McEwen again, that ball, it's got too much pace on it, and will get back into the keeper, Brown. .24 minutes to go. Odubulu ready to check back in for SMU on the next whistle in the Mustangs' favor. Bouncing ball. Cunningham trying to get to it at the edge of the 18, and Brown beats her by just a step. Great opportunity for Temple off of the kick. They were well positioned, got a good deflection, and Cunningham unfortunately just couldn't win that race. I'm sure Kelly Farrell, watching from the bench, wishes that she were out on the field for that one. Farrell, one of the faster players on the Temple roster. They have given the Owls a good look there. So here is Taylor Trusky to take the throw. Good long one. McGlynn goes up for it, flicks a header forward. Right to Taylor Barg, who redirects it out of harm's way. Good pressure from Toronto and Cunningham. Unfortunately, it is deflected off of SMU for a Temple throw-in. Trusky's throw, headed straight up into the air by McGlynn. And kicked out again by SMU, and will do the same thing from the same spot. This one covered up by Haley Thompson, kick back to midfield. We have played 3 quarters of regulation, 2-1 SMU lead, 22:30 left for the Owls. They don't absolutely need this one, but they badly want it. This would go a long way towards shoring up a berth in the American Athletic Conference tournament next week in Dallas. McEwen gets a deflection out of play and will win a throw-in. Harner comes up to take it. Cunningham, good touch, trying to get it into McGlynn. And again, the Owls are not missing by much, but just off the mark on those final passes, and Brown picks it up and will get ready to punt it away. Big kick this time from Brown. Trusky gets the first touch on it. Senior across midfield. McGlynn leads Cunningham with a pass, but Harrington gets there first. Lafferty plays it back for Nash under some pressure from Valadez. Nash gets it away. Out of play, Temple throw in near side. We'll get substitutions on both sides now. Alana Falcone back in for the Owls. She comes in for Toronto. Falcone, the team's second leading scorer with 6 goals. And Falcone will come in and immediately get a chance, and maybe just took 1 second too long there with Barg coming over. Barg then can't keep it in play. It's across the end line and out, and a corner kick for Temple. So a golden opportunity here, down by a goal, 20 minutes, 20 seconds left. Header just wide right. That was Shannon Senior. Again, she scored the first goal for Temple on a header and got another good one off just a bit outside. This ball is untouched, out of play, and Temple will get it back. Throw in, 19:35 to go. Good takeaway there from Odubulu. Harner down the far side. Tries to get it to McEwen and does. McEwen double teamed in the corner. And it's deflected by Odubulu back off of McEwen and out. So an SMU throw in and a sub as well for the Mustangs. Blair Thorpe, a freshman, back into the game as Paige Jacobs comes off. The Owls 10-6-1, a win away from matching last year's total of 11 wins. They'll get another crack at it if they don't get it today. take on Houston here Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. The problem for Temple, they are currently 2-4-1 in the conference in a three-way tie for 7th with only 8 teams going to Dallas for the tournament. And one of those other teams they're tied with are these SMU Mustangs, which currently hold a 2-1 lead. 18 minutes to go as Nash punts it away. Lafferty, good turn. Keeps it in play. Up to McEwen. McEwen sends one up into the corner. McGlynn in the vicinity. Barg will get there first and a nice touch. Keeps it in play. Turns, gets around McGlynn. Byerly wins it back for Temple to McEwen. McEwen, a big cross. And Katie Brown is there at the edge of the 18 to pick it up. Valadez puts it on the ground. She's the only one there against 3 cherry jerseys. And Trusky deflects it away just enough to get it to Senior. Sends it upfield. McGlynn back to Cunningham. Up over the top. Falcone. Kicked away. Falcone. Tried to get that deflection for a corner kick, and a nice job to only give up the throw-in by Taylor Barg, who's had a good game on the back line for SMU. Kelly Farrell will come back in. Gabriella McEwen comes off. And for SMU, Barry Kesner has re-entered for Vanessa Valadez. So the SMU leading scorer comes off. Temple's leading scorer comes on. Owls trail 2-1. They've only lost once here at home. And a bouncing ball right in front of Katie Brown. She's able to pick it up unobstructed. Odabulu. Good ball into the center of the field. Good movement here by SMU. Streaking down the left wing is Lonsberry. She's pursued by Senior. Lonsberry getting to the end line and will deflect it off of Senior and out. Corner kick, Mustangs. Just a really nice job there by SMU in transition. Every opportunity on the offensive end for SMU at this point is a chance to effectively seal the game. Blair Thorpe will take the corner. Leaks through to the backside of the 18 where Farrell picks it up. And she'll get some help there off a foul call. 15 minutes to go. No change in score here in the 30 minutes after halftime. It has been 2-1 SMU since that penalty kick 14 seconds before the half. Byerly swings it to the right side for Senior. Senior pursued by Kesner. Up to Farrell. Farrell receives it back to goal, 20 yards out. Double team plays her off the ball. And we've got a handball called here against SMU, so good win there by Taylor Trusky, and the Owls will get it back. 14 minutes to go, and Lafferty will step up to take the free kick. The Owls have been dangerous off of these. Lafferty with 5 goals and 3 assists this year, and most in some way, shape, or form off of free kicks. She sends this one in toward the goal. Brown steps up, punches it away. Second opportunity, Jurowicz from the top of the box. Over to McGlynn. McGlynn racing around and will get a corner kick here for Temple. Yet another corner today for the Owls. Falcone take it from the near side. Farrell goes up, gets a header on it, but can't put it in the direction of the goal. Foul called against Falcone. That'll give SMU a free opportunity to clear it now under 13 minutes to play.
Come on, Sarah, let's go.
Jackson's ball gets by both Lonsberry and Senior. Senior the first to get there, turns around, sends it up toward McGlynn. McGlynn under some heavy pressure, kicks it out of play. Throw in SMU and a substitution for the Mustangs. Brooke O'Hare comes into the game for the first time this afternoon. O'Hare, a senior from Jacksonville, Florida. McGlynn, good ball up to midfield for Farrell. Farrell doing what she can to flick it across midfield. And a foul called here against Farrell and a free kick coming from midfield. This will stop the clock at 11:31. Officials have been very cognizant about time wasting during those breaks. And now a foul called against Byerly. Fouls have really mounted here in the second half.
Huh? I know. She touched my face. That ain't nothing.
Barg will take the free kick here. Temple sets a wall 3 wide.
Yeah.
Barg around the wall, good shot, but right at Nash, who makes the save. The Owls have life here, down 1, 10:35 to go. Nash's kick spiraling toward the near side of the field. Takes a big bounce. Farrell on a header, puts it on the ground. Cunningham in the vicinity. Back out toward midfield, and a foul called. This one is against Senior. Put back into play by Jackson. Harrington to the edge of the box, kicked away by Lafferty. Back to midfield. And Barg will bomb it forward. McEwen back in along with Taylor Matzinger for the Owls, and on the SMU side, they get Vanessa Valadez back in. Farrell, good touch to herself at the edge of the 18. Farrell takes the shot, but it is right at Katie Brown, who makes the save. Best look for Temple in some time, and Farrell trying to break that scoreless streak here in conference play. Mentioned earlier in the first half, she has not scored since her hat trick against St. Joe's back on September 20th. Harrington kicks it out to the far side. Last touch by Harner, out of play, and a throw in for SMU, another sub for the Mustangs. Kelsey Gorney, the starters on the back line, is in after a short breather. Brooke O'Hare comes out. SMU with the throw-in. Harner wins the ball, sends it into the corner. Farrell trying to race it down there against Barg. Barg, another nice turn, handles the ball very well. Knocked out by Byerly, and a throw-in coming for SMU. 7.5 minutes to play. Been a scoreless and a frustrating second half here for the Temple Owls. And Lauren Guerra back into the game now for SMU. Byerly knocked the ball loose. Falcone tried to get to it, kicked upfield by Thompson and stopped there by Trusky. Header by Farrell. One by Petroselli as well. Falcone, nice move. Falcone takes a shot. Wide right as it sails out. And a goal kick coming for SMU. Six minutes to go here in regulation. SMU throw-in, far side. Gina DiToronto is re-entered. Falcone comes off, and Seamus O'Connor from the Temple bench shouting some instructions to Gabriella McEwen. No difference at this point for Temple between 2-1 and 3-1, so likely see them throw some more numbers on the offensive end and do what they've got to do to try to get this game tied and send it to overtime. Jordan Nash with a big punt. McEwen ends up on the ground, or excuse me, DiToronto, and a foul called against SMU. 5 minutes to go. Lafferty with a free kick 10 yards across midfield. SMU setting their line right at the edge of the 18. Temple's got players spread out horizontally all across the field. Lafferty sends it in. Header by Farrell, and Brown able to get there. Got to give some credit to Katie Brown. Hasn't really done anything extraordinary. She's made a couple of saves that have been asked of her, but she's had no big mistakes. The one goal that she let up could have happened against anyone in the conference. It was a perfectly executed ball by Temple and a great header by Senior, just tucked inside the near post. But Brown coming in somewhat mysterious circumstances 12 minutes into the game. It didn't look like an injury, but something caused Maroney to leave the game. She has not returned. Now a chance inside the 18. And a penalty kick is called for Temple. Gabriella McEwen fouled, and the Owls, who gave up the go-ahead goal on a PK in the last minute of the first half, now have a chance to equalize. And with all the fouls we've seen called in the second half, you can't say that one is unexpected. So here is Aaron Lafferty, who's scored 2 PKs this season against the backup keeper, Katie Brown. 3:55 to go in regulation. Lafferty, the senior, steps up and scores. Top left. We are tied with 3:54 left in regulation. Aaron Lafferty has knotted the game on a penalty kick. And the senior cool under pressure. And now it will be an all-out battle in the final minutes here to try to find a winner before overtime. And somewhere after the goal, it looked like a card issued to SMU. Now we are back underway, 3 minutes, 50 seconds and counting, 2-2. Ball played back in for Brown. Brown, good ball upfield, header by Lafferty. Now Temple players all on their feet, standing up even on top of the bench, and they are extremely vocal as this team has gotten second life. Scoreless for over 40 minutes in the second half, and a PK may have just changed the fortunes of the Owls' season. Free kick for Lafferty. 5 players in the near corner of the 18. Matzinger over at the far side of the 18, closest to Lafferty. Lafferty, good driven ball. Brown dropped it, picked it right back up. Great strike by Lafferty, and a good take there by Temple. 2:35 to go here in regulation. Senior kicks it out of play. Throwing for SMU. And kicked right back out by Thompson, so Temple gets it back. 2:15, 2:14. Jurwich up into the air. Farrell, header forward to the edge of the 18. Barg clears it away. This ball last touch by SMU out on the far side. 147, 146. Temple throw-in. Cleared back to midfield. Lafferty, top of the 18. Tough settle for Farrell. Harrington to Valadez. Senior up over the top. Farrell. DiToronto making a run. She gets the ball here 25 yards out. DiToronto plays it back in just beyond Farrell's reach. Farrell to Matzinger. Second chance now for Jurwich. Final minute. Jurwich sends it in wide left. And a goal kick now for SMU. Temple has been to overtime twice this season. SMU has been to overtime 4 times. We might see 5 here. 40 seconds to go. Tie game 2-2. Jurwich over the top. Farrell stayed onside. Farrell upended by the keeper, and we will see another penalty kick, this time with 30 seconds left and a chance for Temple to win it. Unbelievable as Kate Brown came sliding out. So Brown, how about this? Brown is sent off for the foul. It is not a yellow, it is a straight red. Brown is the backup goalkeeper. They only have 2 goalkeepers on the roster. Maroney already left the game in the first half and has not returned. And so now a field player will have to come in and play goalie for SMU and try to stop the second penalty kick opportunity of the game for Aaron Lafferty. Lissy Lonsberry, senior forward out of Southlake, Texas, is going to put on a penny and step in goal with 30 seconds left to try to save a PK from Lafferty, who's a perfect 3 for 3 this season. So here comes Lonsberry. What a circumstance for her to step into, and Temple knows something about this after the injury to Kirchhoff. Jordan Nash is one of the only active goalkeeper on the roster. And they have talked about what would happen if a field player had to go in. But right now it is Lafferty, and we've got a yellow card issued to Taylor Jackson, who came over and shoved Kelly Farrell before the ball was set. We were underway. Tempers have flared here in the second half. And now Lafferty against Lonsberry. Lafferty went top left on her last PK. You got to imagine that's where Lonsberry is going to go on this one. We'll see if Lafferty goes to the same spot or mixes it up. Meanwhile, before we can have this PK, the head coach for SMU, Chris Petrucelli, has been around this game a long time, is in his 26th season, is arguing with the assistant referee, the 4th official also in that conversation. So this conversation is still going on out of your viewing area, but Chris Petrucelli is talking with the assistant referee. No apparent change has taken place. I think what they're saying is what has happened here is Brown went back to the bench and they're moving her away now. Lafferty steps up and scores. Erin Lafferty with her second penalty kick of the game beats Lonsberry, and Temple has taken an improbable, if not impossible, 3-2 lead with 30 seconds left in this game. An absolutely stunning turn of events as Katie Brown, the backup goalkeeper, is sent off in the final minute. Lonsberry, a field player, tries to save a PK from Lafferty and cannot, and Temple goes up 3-2. 29 seconds now. The Owls were 4 minutes away from losing this game in regulation. Now they have a chance to win it in regulation. SMU will kick it over the top. Out of play, throw in for Temple, 20-19. Trusky takes the throw. 6 seconds left on the clock. Kicked across midfield. The final seconds will expire, and the Temple Owls win an absolute stunner here at home in the penultimate game of the 2015 season. 3-2 is the final, and a well-deserved celebration, a big hug for Erin Lafferty as Temple finds a way to win it 2 PKs called in the final 4 minutes of regulation, including one with 30 seconds left. And this will be a contentious conversation between Chris Petrucelli and the officials after Temple gives up a PK with 15 seconds left in the first half to go down 2-1. They get 2 penalty kicks in the final 4 minutes of the game, including one in the 90th minute, and they steal a victory here at home. 3-2 is your final. Temple matches their program record for wins. They improve to 11-6-1. They're 3-4-1 in the conference, and they take a huge step toward a berth in the 2015 American Athletic Conference Tournament. That will wrap it up. A wild one here in Ambler. Check out all the highlights later this evening right here on alsports.com. And join us Sunday at 1 o'clock as Temple takes on Houston on Senior Day. We'll be live right here at 12:45. Your final, Temple 3, SMU 2. On behalf of our entire Owls TV crew, Yale Alpert manning our camera, I'm Kevin Kopp. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, everybody, from Ambler.